Hey, welcome. So you think you know football? Buckle up, my red-headed friend, because we're about to sprint through the entire history of the beautiful game faster than a striker who just spotted free pizza. From kicking pig bladders around muddy fields to billion-dollar superstars who cry when they lose, and sometimes when they win, no judgment. This is the story of football. Stick around, because by the end you'll sound smart at parties and confuse everyone at the same time. Let's kick off. Okay, football didn't start in England. Sorry to break it to the pub crowd. Ancient China had Kuju around 200 BC, basically kicking a ball into a net, except nobody got a yellow card for celebrating too hard. The Romans played harpastum, which was so rough it makes your office softball game look like a tea party. Imagine 50 stickmen in togas body-checking each other for a leather ball. That's your ancestors' weekend. So next time someone says football is new, tell them it's older than your car, your house, and probably your excuses for missing the gym. Fast forward to medieval England, where football was basically a legal riot. Whole villages would clash, hundreds of people, one ball, zero referees, and a goal that could be 2 miles apart. That's not a match. That's a family reunion with commitment issues. King Edward II actually banned it in 1314 because soldiers were too busy kicking balls to practice archery. Priorities, right? So football was so distracting it got outlawed before it even had a rule book. Honestly, same energy as your phone banning you from scrolling at 2 a.m. Everything changed in 1863 when the Football Association was born and finally wrote down the rules, because just kick it toward that tree wasn't cutting it anymore. This is where football and rugby had a messy breakup. One said no hands, the other said yes hands, and also a weird egg. The FA picked no hands, and history was made over tea and bickering. So the next time you argue with a friend over something silly, remember, a whole sport was invented from people refusing to share. Petty divisions build empires, my friend. In 1871, the FA Cup kicked off, and suddenly everyone wanted a shiny trophy more than they wanted lunch. The first winner was Wanderers FC, who sounds like a band of lost tourists but were actually champs. Clubs started popping up faster than coffee shops, and fans showed up in the rain because that's what love looks like for football people. Picture a red-headed stickman in a tiny raincoat screaming at 11 strangers to win a cup. That's tradition. And the trophy? Smaller than your expectations, bigger than your rent. Then countries got jealous and wanted in. The first international match was England versus Scotland in 1872, and it ended 0-0. Yes, the very first country versus country game was a snooze fest, classic. But it lit a fire. Now nations could argue about who's better without starting an actual war, mostly. Imagine stickmen from different flags glaring at each other over a ball instead of a border. Football became the cheapest diplomacy ever invented, and the snacks are way better than at the UN. In 1930, the first World Cup arrived in Uruguay, and the whole planet lost its mind politely. 13 teams showed up, and Uruguay won on home soil. Home advantage so strong it should be illegal, like mom's cooking in a baking contest. The trophy was named after Jules Rimet, a man who believed football could unite the world, which is adorable and also slightly naive. So the biggest tournament ever started with a whopping 13 teams and a dream. Today it's 32 and a billion headaches to host. Progress. Now for the saddest plot twist. 1950, Brazil hosted, built the giant Maracana Stadium, and lost the final to Uruguay in front of 200,000 fans. That's not a loss. That's a national heartbreak with stadium seating. People reportedly wept into their popcorn. Okay, cassava, but you get it. A red-headed stickman in a sea of heartbroken yellow would have needed a boat. So if you've ever blown a big moment, just remember, an entire country once did it live on television. You're fine. Enter Pelé, the guy who made hat tricks sound like a superpower. He won 3 World Cups by age 29, which is like finishing your homework, your master's degree, and your memoir before most of us pick a career. He scored over 1,000 goals, a number so big it looks fake on a receipt. Picture a stickman with a round red head juggling a ball while the world applauds, and someone drops a confetti cannon by accident. Pelé turned football into magic and made defenders question their life choices. Then came Diego Maradona in 1986, a genius with a suspicious left hand. The hand of God goal was basically cheating so iconic it got a biblical name. He punched the ball in and blamed the Almighty. For minutes later, he dribbled past half the team for the goal of the century. Because why not be a villain and a hero in one afternoon? A red-headed stickman referee would have blown the whistle, then asked for an autograph. Maradona proved you can be the problem and the solution, which is just Tuesday for most of us. Skip to 1992, and the English Premier League was born, mostly so TV companies could roll in money like a cartoon villain in a coin vault. Suddenly players earn more in a week than you'll see in a lifetime, and transfer fees got so silly they need their own calculator. A stickman in a tiny jersey now costs more than a small island, and the island has better parking. So football became showbiz with grass, and we the fans just happily pay for the popcorn. No notes, honestly. And let's not forget the women, who were told no for decades and then proceeded to outplay everyone with half the budget and double the attitude. The first Women's World Cup was 1991, and now stadiums sell out faster than concert tickets for a boy band. Picture a red-headed stickwoman skipping past defenders like they're traffic cones on a Sunday drive. The message is clear. If they'd been allowed on the pitch in 1863, the history books would be a lot more interesting. And probably shorter, because they'd have finished the argument. Modern era. Messi and Ronaldo, the two GOATs who made GOAT a full-time job. For 15 years they traded trophies like kids trading lunch snacks, and we argued online about who's better instead of touching grass. Messi finally won a World Cup in 2022, completing the set like a stamp collector who conquered the world. A red-headed stickman could only watch in awe and question his own hobbies. 10 Ballon d'Ors between two guys. That's not a rivalry. That's a dynasty with matching haircuts. And now we have VAR, the robot referee that slows the game down so we can all yell at a screen together. Unity through confusion. A goal gets scored, everyone cheers, then waits 90 seconds while a man watches a monitor like he's decoding the Da Vinci Code. Your red-headed stickman just wants to celebrate. But nope. Let's check if his toenail was offside. Technology made football fairer and 10 times more annoying, which is basically every smartphone update ever. Progress, I guess. So there you have it. From pig bladders to Pelé to pizza money, Premier League stars, and robot referees. Football went from a village brawl to a planet-wide obsession in record time. Next time someone says it's just a game, remind them it's a 200-year-old soap opera with cleats. Thanks for hanging out with your favorite red-headed stickman. Go forth, watch a match, and if your team loses, just blame the linesman, or the weather, or the snack shortage. See you on the pitch.